And a good afternoon. Welcome to the DUANE podcast. We're on location here, none other than GABBA here in Brisbane for episode 22 of the DUANE podcast. First time we've been on location anywhere, and first time that I've actually got today's guest in the flesh with me over my right-hand shoulder. We actually tried to film this via Skype, but they didn't want a bar of it. I'm guessing it's a bad impression on Shory's part, wearing a Bob Catter hat mixed. Well, let's put it this way. Queensland head attire does not mix with Mullumbimby shirt attire. He's using just this piece of cloth, which is like 3 buttons down, and it looks like he's just pulled it off some backpacker out in the middle of Mullumbimby. But whatever fusion goes together, he's trying to be a Queenslander. He hasn't been shut up with Powderfinger all night. So I guess masks don't keep you immune from really bad Powderfinger songs. As you can hear here, this is Josh Hazelwood coming in the bowl. Australia just took a wicket. It's currently 5 for 167, and it's literally the third ball after the lunch break. As I made mention, I'm here with Michael Shaw. So, Shory, episode 22 of the DUANEO podcast. How you been? And firstly, should I say congrats on being the NRRL board too. So you got some eyes and ears now, which is what you like to do at the best of times.
I do. I don't bring any discernible skills. Just get my eyes and ears to the ground and feed out information and see how we can be of assistance. It's pretty sensational being here at my first ever test match at the GABBA. 20 seconds before we press record on this, Steve Smith just took a jumping catch from first slip, bobbled it, caught, and yeah, where would you rather be paying $10 for a mid-strength beer than at the GABBA on a Sunday afternoon?
Well, you love it, mate. Like you, as I said, you were coming into the ground here today. You're staying here tonight in some place that looks like a bit of a watch house, and you're paying $55 a night. You think that's a win, but mate, you just go down the West End and just tell a bouncer piss off, and you'll get there a stay for free tonight. Or even if you don't wear your mask today, you probably would have got a free stay in that watch house.
It could. I'm trying to maintain a very clean record. So next time I do go to court, the judge will let me off lightly. So, yeah. So I'll fork up the $55 for the salubrious room at the Cliff Hotel Motel in Kangaroo Point, and I will be able to stumble back there to my room after a day's play of the fourth and final test match.
So we're here at the GABBA in Brisbane. Who would have thought 7 days ago, Shory, that this place was under lock and key? But the greatest city in the world, mate. You can't keep this place under lock and key for too long. But it's great that we're here with 50% capacity, and you wouldn't even know it. We could easily you believe that we're at 100% capacity with the voice that we got here. We're at day 3 of the test match here.
Certainly is. I'm looking in my binoculars directly across from us. We got the Sound of Summer, Jim Maxwell, Andrew Moore, Ian Healy.
So is Andrew Moore here?
He's here.
Well, mate, he's been in Sydney. So how did he get a special exemption? The Prime Minister these days can't get an exemption to Queensland.
You are right. He's not in Queensland. He's calling
this remotely.
Yeah, he's calling.
And for his sake, probably a good thing because you're here.
Yeah, I might go over and stalk him and ask him for tips on how to be a better commentator. Something that probably is not going to hurt me or you.
Well, let's put it this way, Shory. Today's a bit of Sesame Street theme. We've got a bit of alphabet here. So we're at the GABBA. We're drinking XXXX at AM, AA in the PM, and the ABC will be looking for an RVO on YOU.
I know you like that one. Sounds like an Eminem song, doesn't it?
Yeah, mate. Oh, well, look, I mean, that's the thing. Like, the dress sense today, like, we're talking about mask before. It's, and I'll put some photos up on here. We tried... A bit of crowd noise. I tried to do the...
Were they... I think they were cheering at your joke, not at the cricket.
Well... I'll put some photos up here anyway on the audio version, but if I had to dress how I had about 12 months ago, today it's like, obviously, because with the masks and everything, it looks like I'm about to do an armed rob.
It does. You got your mask on. And just going back to my shirt, this is not a Mullumbimby Hippie backpacker shirt. This is actually Ringers Western from Outback WA. This is what real blokes wear out in the bush, mate. None of your inner city lefty soy latte sipping nonsense.
Oh, mate, you know about that in certain ways. And one, you keep a close knit on the community.
No, it's fantastic. Here we got Cummins into bowl. We are at the GABBA. It was scorching hot yesterday. Very happy with the temperature and the conditions today. And yeah, I'm just as happy as the proverbial pig right now.
So as I said, we're coming in today. So we had to do about a 20-minute walk from Shore's watch house, wherever he's staying. And basically the security here, you'll get in the third degree. They basically wanted to know what you're having for lunch. Because let's face it, you basically brought a picnic today. You brought your artichokes and your dried Mullumbimby. Was it Bangalow? Whatever. What's the most hippie place in the Byron Shire now? I've been out of there for about 2 months now. So what's the
Byron Bay Olive Company?
Yeah.
So Byron Bay Olive Company, shout out, it's one of my major sponsors. They do me up a nice mix of sun-dried tomatoes, artichokes, dried Kalamata olives, some chili olives, and just some nice olive bread to dip that into. And enjoy a nice little salami.
So what do you reckon it costs more? A beer you're drinking today, or the piece of bread with a bit of oil, a bit of Bangalow or Tyalgum or Nuribar oil from Harvest?
Mate, the antipasta mix was $11 and my beer is $10.50. So I see where there's more value in those olives, I reckon.
I'll just stick to the 4.20 pie and the bucket of chips I'm about to have later. But the other thing I was talking about with the security side of things, so you did bring a sign in, and this is what was the unfortunate fact. We tried to do a video and can't really show it, but we'll get pictures and put it up in here, as I made mention. But it was just unfortunate that we can't show you, but you did bring in a sign in, and you basically got the roller, the third degree with security out the front here. So tell us a bit about that.
So, as we know, if you've been reading the news for the past 100 years, there are some... we've got a bit of an issue with racism here in Australia, and especially at the cricket last couple of tests. Been a bit of an uproar, so I thought I'd bring a nice sporting sign. I can't write or draw at all, so I got my lovely wife to write it up for me. It says, "India, thank you for the fantastic cricket," which is lovely. Just got a couple of nice comments from some Indian fans in the crowd, and the security had to go over. We had 3 different people deciphering it. They wanted to see if it was some smart-ass racist, excuse my French, sign. We're doing a clean show here, Dwayne tells me. So yes, they went over it. They made sure I had no markers in my pockets. I wasn't going to adjust the sign. But yeah, we're through. But after I've just been, we had the camera crews from the TV stations come over. And as I've sent this photo on to my friends and family, they've picked up that we've got a spelling mistake on it. So not only are the Indians going to think we're a bunch of racists, they're going to think we're illiterate as well.
So that noise in the crowd you heard, that was Labuschagne about to I think he just dropped one. What a beautiful day here on a Sunday. Who would have thought, and I spoken in previous podcasts, I even spoken to one last Sunday, Shorey, that and you're probably going to hear over the PA, that's one thing, Powderfinger and Shorey is not the only thing that's repetitive today. It's over the PA, Dettol, clean hands, good PR exercise. And look, I'm not going to lie, I've got a little tiny bottle of Dettol in my left pocket here, as well as my marks. We're all doing the right thing. But sure, as I was saying, that as we'll just wait for, I think this is Hazelwood coming into bowl. And that glides away for 4. The crowd's pretty split here though, Shorey, as far as noise goes anyway.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, Indians have such a long history with Australia of migrating here, living here, or whatever you say. I'm just noticing 3/4 of all the security guards here are of Indian origin as well, as far as I can tell. So yeah, it's good. That's what I love about this. Just playing India, it was such different cultures and communities, but come together for the love of this game. And India have really held us to the medal in this series, and it's a draw. It's an even test thus far, with us winning one, them winning one, and a draw, and then this is a decider. What better test match to be at?
I was joking before saying that how the ABC are putting an RVO out on you. You were basically saying to me in the first 10 minutes this morning, you're basically, and I don't know how the fuck you did it, but you spotted Jim Maxwell in this glass, which is just basically like tinted to the nines.
So
you spotted him. Hang on, and also I was listening, and I don't listen to ABC much, if at all. I mean, I basically got Spotify blasting, especially when Hatebreed's new album's out, and I've just been putting that on. So I was driving back from Ballina, what was it, on Friday, and then just as I approached the border at Kirra, and in the line, I just thought, shit, I'll check the cricket score. And the commentators there were saying, Michael from Mullumbimby saying, I'm looking forward to my first cricket game. That first I literally turned it on for 30 seconds to check the fucking score. And here it is. Michael, I am so looking forward to my first ever cricket game. Now, the thing is, too, you also asked them what is fun to do in Brisbane on Sunday. You know, you got my number. I spend enough time up here. But you want to do it by the ABC profile.
Well, tell me, where should I be going after the cricket? Because for me, I'm turning this into a holiday. This could get a bit serious for me up here, Dwayne. I don't have any responsibilities on the first half of this week. Got a cheap motel room in Brisbane. I had a car full of gas, a couple of bob in my pocket. Tell me, what should I be doing?
Well, I mean, and obviously the restrictions are now you just wear a mask inside. So let me just tee on it a bit. I'm thinking pre-COVID. So, of course we got a mutual friend in Jamie Pierce. Tomato Head is what we call him. I remember I came up here for the Mundine John Wayne Parr fight just over a year ago, just up the street here at the convention centre. And our other mutual mate, Desi Springfield Hornery, dragged us via Pierce. He dragged us out to a little bar called the Milk Bar.
Yep.
And we were having bourbon and cokes all night. And so there's that. So I think the West End, if you just want something a bit secluded but fun, of course there's no concerts on or anything at the moment still, but as I said, I find yourself at the West End, or South Bank's always good for a feed. It's probably meets your connoisseur likes when it comes to the food steaks anyway.
Yeah, I think we've got a flash restaurant. I wouldn't mind going to a bit of a Brisbane institution. I have, the reason I say that because I heard the ABC lads talking about a Greek joint near the GABBA they go to. But also on Vulture Street. So there's obviously the hotels down near the Suncorp Stadium.
Yeah, there's actually a couple. There's I'm just, because I went to the State of Origin there when it was 100%. We stayed somewhere just before South Bank. You had to cross the bridge. But it was, I mean, you could always go to the Grand Chancellor. That's getting a bit of a look in at the moment.
Yeah, I'll have a look around. I'll look for fine dining options. I brought a pair of long pants along as well as the shorts and thongs, so we might go out somewhere flash tonight.
I'm surprised you didn't go to the Magic Millions yesterday up at down in my neck of the woods. Our other mutual mate, Mitchell the King Krause, was there, and he was injecting vodka cruisers down his gullet. Literally, he had some kind. I was looking at his Instagram story yesterday, and he had some kind of injecting mechanism, and he's paying the price for it this morning.
I was working, so I think the Millions might be running today as well, aren't they? Or they're just packing up, because the market I attend on a Sunday, one of the markets is at the racecourse, and they're closed due to the Magic Millions.
So, as I made mention here, we're at the GABBA. What a cracking day. I think we picked the right day to come here, sure. It was, we still got planes flying overhead, and I had to drop my sister off yesterday down, and she's headed back to Melbourne, which is, I said in last week's podcast, it was a bit of a saga for her, but it's just reassuring to see that we've got planes in the sky, even there's some travel restrictions with COVID.
There are, Oh, don't let it get to me, DUANE. We talk about COVID all day and all night.
Which is why I'm here.
But is the lovely thing, like, especially when you're old buggers like you and I now, as we've said, we've got seats free in front of us, we've got seats free behind us and next to us. No one has to listen to us recording a silly podcast, and we don't have any yahoos causing commotion around us. It's quite lovely, isn't it? And when you go to the pub, you get to sit down.
That's right. Well, I mean, I guess, and I actually did say that in the podcast last week where I think I was showing my... Oh. How good's Nathan Lyon?
You know what's the best thing so far about coming to the cricket? Is hearing the sound of the bat on the ball. It sounds that much better in person.
It's great. But, as I was saying, Shory, I think I was showing my age last week because I was talking to Nick Blom, who around about the same age as us. And I was telling him the best thing that ever happened was social distancing and sitting down at concerts. I know I was the most ruthless mosh pitter in the Byron Bay hardcore days. I've got scars all over my face because of Parkway Drive's early days. And but now I'm just happy just to sit on my rear and just appreciate the music and appreciate this kind of stuff. And but it's different now when we're doing footy commentary.
It is, but it's not too much different. Doing the commentary is fine, and people are at home and they're watching it on YouTube. Tune into our YouTube stream for the NRRL page to get all the updates of what's going on there. And thanks, before I think you made mention of my addition to the board. So
yeah, I was going to say that. So how did that all come about?
How it all came about, we've been doing the commentating for about 2 seasons now, and so we're involved in the game somewhat. In terms of the media a little bit, we're doing the podcast. I do know that the secretary of the NRRL, Tanya Booth, she'd reach out to you in the past and see if you would be interested, because you do have so many ideas and input and feedback to the game, and you just didn't quite have the time and the...
Plus, it's not so much... It's now a Well, I mean, look, I'm on the Gold Coast now, so... I mean, it's... For me, it's always something that, sure, it's something I'd give a crack, but nothing more than a logistic thing. Not only am I on the Gold Coast, I'm on the wrong end of the Gold Coast, and it's just a juggling act now, but it's in good hands now. Like, it's even in better hands now, shall I say. It was always in good hands, but it's in better hands now that we've got the likes of, say, you there having a say.
Well, and I've just recently done a course with the Australian Institute of Company Directors, and so I've learned a few of the rules. And one of the rules are, if you are advising me in any sense or give me any feedback into what my decisions are, you legally become a honorary board member in a sense.
Yeah. So now that we're here in the second session, and as we're recording this, and this is when, I will just wait for Hazelwood to bowl this ball, but I'll give it the...
Oh, what a shot.
Nice shot.
No run.
Probably deserved too, but this is when all the fun starts to begin. So normally, because I've done Ashes test matches before. Normally I'd be falling asleep by now, but I'm actually liven up because I've got you here, and I think that's the only thing that was missing. But for me, it's the second session with the sun reaching its peak, and then you have about 7 or 8 overpriced 4Xs in your bloodstream. This is when the party starts to crack, and now we're all seeing over my right shoulder of all the sombreros and people playing dress up, and as I said, normally I'll be playing dress up with my bandana mask and my camo hat, but this is when it starts getting lively, and then it's bedtime for either the old timers or the people that haven't really run the gauntlet before. So you and I have run a few gauntlets in our time, but at the same time, I sort of worry about that in a sense that coming here, I was even saying to you, even just last week, where am I going to last a full day at this bloody thing? Because being what it is, and it's 6 days in the sun, and just being a little bit social anxious now with the COVID thing. But even like some festivals now, like I remember going to a festival last year when Parkway Drive headline out at the RNA Showgrounds. It was a day just like this. This was when it was like really, really, really smoky, just after the bushfires, but about similar weather, probably a little bit hotter. And I normally thrive on festivals. I was about to go home after the first hour, but then after 3 o'clock when Bad Religion played, had about 7 or 8 beers in me by this point, I was ready to I found my second stretch and just like enjoyed the rest of the afternoon. Cricket's no different.
Well, I got a question for you, Duane. I know you're a festival goer and you're a gambling man. So I want you to play bookmaker with me for a second.
Sure.
What are the odds of the Blues Fest going ahead this year?
Blues Fest. Okay, so it's in Byron Bay.
Yep.
4 months away. Now we've got to remember. Here's the other thing: festivals haven't really reaped its head here, but Queensland's booked a whole bunch of shit up here. Like, I think there's some watered down punk festival. I forget what the name of it's called. It's in May at Metricon. And this is debatable. I'll just wait for the PA to.
This is another Dettol ad. We're not sponsored by Dettol. Use alternate brands for sanitising.
You know what's a good brand is the Mob in Lismore. They sell it at the IGA. That Lemon Myrtle brand. Fucking love it. We were using it in footy commentary before.
So it's not a clean podcast anymore. We're allowed to swear.
Oh, that was back when we had. But okay, back to your question. So, if in Queensland, sure, I'd say that they'd find a way, but people would be seating. If they can have a seating plan, and you got to remember, New South Wales is a bit more under the thumb than Queensland because they're still breaking out with cases, but. If it was held in a stadium, like a mini stadium, even like a say a C-bus stadium, it would go ahead. But I'm thinking they're going to have to do well. I mean, and look, anyone that can do it's New South Wales Health.
Well, you haven't answered the question. Can you please give me the odds?
The odds?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Well,
as it stands now, what are the odds?
Are we talking money, or are you just talking by a parameter, or?
No. So what's it paying? What's a go-ahead paying?
I'd say. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the crowd to disperse its noise. So I'm going to say somewhere in the low $2.
Wow.
And I'm basing that upon social distancing. Like, you'd think now that they've had some time now to arrange something like that. It's in a regional area.
Yep.
It just depends on how much they're willing to police it.
Problem is
they might have to change the venue.
Change of venue. I think they actually own the venue.
I think their only shot at it is, you know something? I don't think it's logistically possible. Actually, I'm going to change my mind. I think it's if they had it at somewhere like an Oaks Oval or Sinus setting and people were seated, and then we're talking multiple stages, and they're only going to let 1,000 people in, they could probably. It would go ahead in the sense of safety, where it's like you could potentially have, I don't know, you could have it in the sense where it's you let X amount of people through, and then you can, for a cheaper amount of money, offer like a live stream. We were talking, actually, I mean, I'm coming with ideas for it to go ahead, and so I spoke with Nick last week's podcast. We were talking about how because he's not really a big sports person, so I told him about how we do things live stream sports wise, but at the same time I would like to see that involved with music too. Same cup of tea. So I'd like to see that involved in music, and you wouldn't charge full tilt for it, so I think like you could offer.
Beautiful shot. Just a fantastic straight drive for 4 by the Indians. 5 for 179, chasing 369. Looks like a hard task. But yeah, you say the music, I love it too. It's just so expensive to get all the live streaming and the camera equipment stuff in there. But I don't know, would I pay for a show that I'm not at? Would I pay $5 when I can listen to their perfectly produced album on my Spotify or iTunes stream? That's a question for me. My favourite current band at the moment is the Teskey Brothers. They're having a go here, catch.
Yeah, so for me it's like, well, it's the same sort of proof of the pudding where it's like with football, like people can't get out to the games because of COVID, and I was reading an article the other day from New South Wales Rugby League that they had like 85,000 streams. It wasn't even their grand final, but it was some group game down south, and it was their preliminary final. They had 85,000 hits.
Wow, that's huge.
So, and look, let's face it, they're not going to get full tilt with the crowds, and the New South Wales government knows there are going to be a lot of people travelling to Byron Bay for like a blues fest. I think it can go ahead, but the thing is, it's a logistic thing. Like, you're going to have it like in a stadium. They're not going to be able to have multiple stages. People are going to have certain seats. So it'd almost be willing to sell to the Queensland government. They get a cut out of it and have it at Seabus or Metricon, and where the laws are a little bit more relaxed. But
I think half of the Blues Fest appeal is it's in Byron Bay, even though it's not really. It's nearly in Yelgan. But people are coming half for the music and half for
the experience.
Exactly.
The experience of running your paws and your kicks in like 3-inch thick of mud. I tell you what though, like
India are teeing off here and having a crack at the Aussies. They've got a big task ahead of them, but they're making it a contest.
I tell you what though, you wouldn't want to be a gumboot owner in July last year, because gumboots were the hottest sale during that Splendor period. I remember about 3 or 4 years ago when Splendor on the Grass was on, and I'm not even fucking kidding, from Byron Bay, even further south, nearly up to Brisbane, gumboots sold out everywhere. I actually tried to find some for my... I think it was my sister or my brother who went to Splendor, and he asked me to get... I was up at Ribena, and I was like, let's track me down some gumboots to bring back to Byron. And they were all sold out at Ribena Town Centre. But we obviously know festivals down in Byron last year, and like people are actually doing like bootlegs, like no pun intended, bootlegged sales of gumboots, like just buying batches of them. And it's like the hoarders of all the panic buying. That's probably one thing they've got in common at the moment. But you know, it's bad business being a gumboot owner at the moment.
Well, it's good business if you've got gumboots in stock. And it's
and you can hear that. India now 6 down. Washington Sundara just nicks one into second slip. We're in commentary mode now, Shorey.
We are. Fantastic. Got the binoculars on, focusing on Steve Smith's got a big smile on his face. The Aussies are up. Looks like we could get a win here. I've been barracking for the Indians to make it a contest, but at the end of the day, you want your home team to come up with the biscuits. And it looks like he's dragging off his bat like that comical duck when you get out for a duck.
Sorry, that was actually Rashad Pallant. He was being a bit of he took something out of your textbook and being a pest last week. He smacked Australia around the park at the SCG last week. I was watching it. It was on that 5th day, and he just...
Did he get 100?
No, I think he was in somewhere it was in the teens. Oh, not in the teens. Sorry, in the high double digits. But so India now 6 for 186.
And he got 23 of 29 deliveries then, which is obviously a good clip in Test match cricket. they've been exciting to watch. Richard Pant is a huge pest. I love him. He's behind the stumps, just giving it to him the whole time. He's good. How
would you be if you were a wicket keeper, Shori?
I'd be quiet and reserved and
bullshit.
No, it'd be a good spot to give him a bit of chat. That's for sure. But you'd be out there. It's kind of awkward because it's easy to give someone on a rugby pitch, on a rugby field. You tackle someone, you know. This is thoroughly enjoyable, Dwayne. I'm quite enjoying myself here.
So as I was saying about, what was it? About so we're talking about the beers and when I was in Canada, I went to a Major League Soccer game, and we just wait for Pat Cummins to come in. Through the gap. Yeah, so I went to a Major League Soccer game, and Canada were they were wandering. You were talking about if we were going to be wandered at the front gates here. If you go to the toilet and then you go back to your old, you get wandered after every time you go to the toilet.
Oh,
but
they put a medal to taking wand over you.
Yes, every time you go through a gate. But I was drinking beers like they were 4X Gold over there, and it's anything but. Yeah. They're full nitrous Budweisers.
Yeah. Well, the Canadians, they don't shy away from a strong IPA. I can tell you that much from my interactions with them.
Yeah, so there's no messing about when it comes to beers in Canada. So, because I had about 12 of them, and they deliver them to you. Like, if you want to, you can get them. You get them delivered to you in your seat.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I wouldn't mind actually another couple now. Do we need to pause the podcast for that?
Oh no, we'll hang on for the next 10 or 15. I'm still going here. It's thirsty work talking to you, Shori.
I bet it is. I don't get paid enough.
Cracking shit.
That sound. I'm not sure if you can hear it on the recording, but the sound of the bat on the ball is special. That's 4 runs. I don't know what India's strategy are here, because Australia to win, it doesn't look like they're playing for the draw. Because if they're playing for the draw, they would be slowing play down. They've only got 4 wickets in hand to try to get 370 runs, which looks difficult from here. Don't they want to preserve their wicket and try to bide time to take home the trophy?
It's a tough one, but India take the trophy home on a draw. That's the thing what I was saying before.
But it looks like it doesn't look like they're playing for a draw. They're playing attacking cricket here.
Yeah, 6 for 199. So still about 170 odd down.
They just want to get to the second innings and have a really good crack and see if they can make up the deficit.
So after I had those beers in Canada, I was telling you, it was it knocked me for fucking 6. Like they just load them, and it's like makes me think either they're the legit article, or here they're basically it's like post mix, and you and I are paying $9 a run for them.
Well, mine's $10.50. Yours is $9, to be honest. So your rounds, I win out. I'm making money here, actually.
So we're here at the GABBA here for the DUANE podcast. I was always thinking at how it would be if we're doing shit like this remotely. Sure, it's certainly throw some challenges, but this has been a lot of fun. We have to do more of this often.
I think so too. I much prefer being in person. I much prefer the audio version rather than the video, so you don't get to see.
So you don't show your hand with your Bobcatter hat. You're not far off Queensland, is what you think, Shori?
No, not at all. It's only a 45-minute drive up there.
I mean, in a personal sense.
No, I know. I mean, physically and spiritually.
Rightio. So, India just on the cusp of 200, 4 wickets in hand. So, Shori's gunning for a beer. He's, as I said, AA might be coming to him quicker than most people these days. He's got a big night ahead. So, it's my shout now, so I'm probably going to now have to go and head on down. I'll have to make it stop for food, but so that's episode 22 of the DUANEO podcast here on location. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Something a bit different, and we'll get back to making fun of our Sunday afternoon. Be sure to check the next podcast. Whatever, of course, like us on YouTube, Spotify, and Instagram. And no doubt, we've got, as we just see Hazelwood come in. Oh, good sharp ball from Hazelwood. So be sure to like everything where you find your podcast. And until then, we'll catch up with you in the coming week for the next one. Have a good week, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.